Hi students, welcome back to my channel. Today we are continuing the CXC Social Studies Paper 2, May 2013 past paper questions. Right? Today specifically, we will be looking at question 5 on the topic resources. But before we start, I want to say a big thank you to all of my subscribers. And if you are stopping by my channel for the very first time, welcome. If you love this video, if you want to see more videos like this one that will assist you in getting that grade 1 in your social studies examination, hit the subscribe button, like and share this video, turn on that notification bell that whenever I upload a new video, you will be notified immediately. Let us begin. Question 1, 5A. Identify two of the major natural resources found in the Caribbean. And this is 2 marks. Now, the verb in this question is asking us to identify for 2 marks. So we're just going to start our answers in a complete sentence and just write our answer. So 2 of the major natural resources found in the Caribbean are, you could write land, bauxite, petroleum. You could also write forests or gold. There are many resources, examples of resources that are in the Caribbean that you could write for your answer. Any of those would be correct. You would have received your full 2 marks. 5B, state 2 uses of one of the resources named in A above. Now, I am going to give you various answers that you could choose the 2 uses from. So I am going to look at land. Land is used for small farming. It is used for housing. It is also used for transportation, right? Water is used for irrigating agricultural crops. It's used for domestic purposes. You could talk about forests, which is used to produce lumber for making houses and furniture, and also to provide employment. You could also talk about the petroleum, which is used for domestic consumption, provides power to operate machines. You could also talk about bauxite, which is changed into alumina and exported to earn foreign exchange, and it also provides employment for citizens. So any one of those answers would have been correct. 5C, describe 2 possible environmental consequences of the misuse of one of the resources named in A above. 2 possible environmental consequences of the misuse of one of the resources are, we could have pollution as an environmental consequence. This could be caused from the wrongful disposal of waste on the roads, in the water bodies, leads to land and water pollution. The harmful emissions from the human-made factories also get released into the air, causing air pollution. So that was one of the answers that you could write. You could also write flooding as an environmental consequence of the misuse of resources. This is as a result of trees being cut down and not replanted. You could also write toxic chemicals such as mercury used in gold mining activities, when improperly disposed, may end up in rivers and cause the destruction of aquatic life in the rivers, right? Another answer that you could write for this question is mining, right? The mining. So from mining, one of the environmental consequence could be that the substances that are produced during the bauxite mining process, example, the dust and the nitrogen oxides, causes air pollution, right? So these are just some of the answers that you could write when answering a question such as this one. And the next question is, I want you to try this one on your own. Suggest, given full details, 3 measures a government may take to ensure conservation of natural resources for 6 marks. Part B of the question says, explain fully why each of the measures you have suggested is likely to be successful for another 6 marks. Now, I want you to think about this question. And I want you to identify 2 measures, right, that the government can take to ensure conservation of natural resources, Remember, when we talk about natural resources, we're talking about examples like land, water, petroleum, gold, and all of those resources. Now, what can the government do to ensure that these resources are conserved, that they will not only serve our generation, but our children, our grandchildren, our great great grandchildren, right? And another point, remember, when we talk about natural resources, we are also referring to physical resources. So if you don't see the term physical resources, it's the same as natural resource. All right, so that's part A of the question. So I want you to write 3 measures that the government can take to ensure conservation of natural resources for 6 marks. So I'm going to give you some time to write your 3 measures. Just write your answers. What are the 3 things that the government can do to conserve natural resources? Just that I'm asking you to write in your first paragraph for 6 marks. All right, now that you're finished with part A of the question, I am now going to ask you to think about part B, which is another 6 marks. And part B is asking you to write, why do you think that the measures that you have just written down in A is likely to be successful? Why do you think, what justification can you give, right, for the measures that you have written down in A that will make them successful? Why do you believe that the things that you have written down will be successful? That is part B of the question. So now what I want you to do, you are now going to look at your first measure or your first strategy that you have written down in A. And I want you to explain or justify in another paragraph why do you believe that that strategy will work. All right, very good. Now, I want you to look at your second strategy now, or your second measure that you have written down. And in the paragraph below, I want you to justify or explain why do you believe that that strategy or that measure will work in ensuring that the conservation of natural resources is maintained. All right, very good. Now, I'm just going to allow you to do 2 of those. You can do the other one for your homework. Let us look at some of my answers and see if they will correspond with your answers. And remember, there's no right or wrong answer when you're doing a question like this. As long as you can justify your strategy, or as long as you can explain your strategy and why you believe that it will work in solving the problem, you will get your full marks for that question. So my strategy 1 is the government can put up signs in areas where natural resources are. For example, forest areas or beaches or water parks, they can put up signs there, right? So this strategy, I believe, will work because whenever citizens are going to misuse natural resources, the signs will be there to remind them not to, but to conserve the resources. For example, if you're at the beach and they're going to dump garbage in the water, they will see the sign, no dumping, right? So that will prevent them from dumping the garbage in the sea, right? If they're going to cut down trees and they see the signs, no cutting down of trees, that will prevent them from doing so, right? And this will also work because other citizens will be able to use the signs as a means of stopping and educating others who they see misusing the natural resources. Another strategy that would be correct is using the mass media to educate citizens about natural resources and why they should be conserved. Now, why do I believe that this strategy will work? This strategy will work because the government using the mass media as a medium to give information, and giving information, they can be creative. For example, using advertisement that uses an animation, cartoon, flyers, posters to give information about natural resources and how it can be conserved and the importance of natural resources and what are the ways that citizens can misuse natural resources, right? That will help to prevent them from misusing these resources. Ways they can take care of natural resources, right? And by educating citizens, they will in turn be able to educate others who they see misusing natural resources, right? Another strategy that the government could use to encourage the conservation of natural resources is having a national tree planting day or a national resource day, right? Why do I believe that this strategy will work? This strategy will work because government on that day will provide citizens with trees to plant at home, in their communities, in parks, etc. This day can also be used to educate and give information to citizens about how they can conserve the forest and the importance of reforestation. And if it's a National Resource Day, the government could also initiate a beach cleanup day or cleanup day where they collect plastic bottles, right, in order to help to conserve our natural resource. Another answer that you could write my strategy for is the government can have brand ambassadors to visit communities and promote energy conservation, right? So they can choose some young people to be the face of natural resource conservation, and these young people can go into the different communities, having face-to-face interaction with citizens about natural resources. Now, why do I believe that this strategy will work? This strategy will work because citizens will learn how they contribute to the conservation of natural resources by, for example, taking shorter showers or turning off the pipe when they're brushing their teeth. And this can help to reduce water waste in the home. They can also learn about turning off lights or televisions after you leave a room, unplugging appliances like portable air conditioners, toasters, etc., as they can contribute or continue to use small amount of electricity, and this will help to promote energy conservation, right? And finally, another strategy that you could write, having strict laws with heavy penalties should be instituted and administered to help conserve natural resources, right? And why do I believe that this strategy will work? This strategy will work because if citizens know that there are strict laws in place and policies and strict sanctions in place in dealing with the conservation of natural resources, this will prevent them from misusing any resource because they will not want to be punished, right? And as I said before, there are many other strategies that you can write, and two more strategies before I go. And you could write about programs promoting recycling. You could also write about promoting renewable energy, right? So these are just some of the strategies that the government could use to promote the conservation of natural resources. If you have any strategies that are totally different from mine, you can just leave them in the comment section and we will have a discussion from there. Remember, if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, to do so now. You can also like and share this video. Give this video a thumbs up, recommend it to your friends, and leave a comment in the comment section. Students, see you in another social studies video that will assist you in your social studies preparation.